Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. And he's angled his way back into the studio for fear of being replaced by my marketing director, Danny. Hey, Francisco.
I was replaced for a nanosecond.
You chose not to be here, and you almost were going to be here again today.
We had a scheduling issue.
Fran just guilt tripped me his whole car ride back from Austin today because we had rescheduled the podcast, really, just to accommodate the talent schedule here. But you were in Miami last week.
Say that.
No, so you last minute had a trip last week to Miami, and then this week you literally told me the morning of or the night before that you might go to Austin, and then you went to Austin. But no, I want to say you called me and you go, well, I'm coming back. But Max Verstappen and who else? Everyone on the Red Bull team, right? Perez and who?
Came to find out they weren't there.
Yeah, because they're in Canada.
So Perez and Ricardo.
He tells me their cars were on the track in Austin and he was going to have a chance to watch them drive around. But he decided to come back to do his job for us, for his service to you.
Their cars were there. They were testing one car.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool.
I was kind of surprised because there's, with my F1 schedule updates, they're in Canada.
Yeah, for sure. I bet you're a huge fan.
I'm not a huge fan. I like it. I've always wanted to go to an F1 race, but the only reason I know is because I'm on a TickTock algorithm after liking a few videos of Daniel Ricciardo interviews, or I follow the F1 account, I think. So the F1 TikTok account's cool because they do funny videos of the guys or their style and stuff like that, really highly produced. And I think when you follow an account like that and you like the F1 videos, and obviously F1 started to become super more mainstream and popular with the general public because of all the good-looking young guys driving. So now I get videos. So I randomly, when you told me that, I had seen a video of Carlos. Forget his last name. Sainz, whatever. You don't know. Yeah, in Montreal, getting out of a really nice car with another guy at a hotel. And I was like, F1 must be in Montreal. So when you told me that, I was like, false. They must be in Montreal this weekend.
No, they had a meeting. The whole Red Bull team had a meeting at the track in Austin.
Yeah, so you were in Austin because there's a cool new development.
Yeah,
which is super exciting.
Representing the Circuit of the Americas on their new condo development that it's a car condo. So you have this beautiful condo where you can park starting from 8 cars all the way to almost 30 cars. So cars, motorcycles, anything.
This is so cool, actually. So we'll see how selling them goes, but it's such the perfect fit for a business owner or someone with more money that's really into cars, because you get from what you've told me, right? You get 2 weekends a year with access to that track. So that means you could take your car or supercar out on that track. Because how much does it cost if you want to do that as a regular person?
We have a special in the afternoons. If you want to race, it's like the twilight special in a golf course. So if you want to race after 4 or 5 p.m., the rate is $12,000.
Wow.
If you want to race,
how long? You get 30 minutes on the track or something?
No, an hour.
Wow.
If you want to race before that, all depends on the day, but starts at around $25,000.
$25,000 to bring your supercar to the track for an hour.
And it's not only that. $25,000 is just the tip of it. You have to bring tires, you have to flush brakes, you have to have brake pads, you have if you bring a Ferrari to the track, it's going to cost you $50,000.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy.
If you do it right.
That's so cool for people that have that kind of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, these condos, it's a really cool idea, right? Because it's it's like an apartment, but at the same time, it's to entertain. It's almost like their version of a much cooler box for, at the stadium for season tickets, right? Yeah. Because I'm assuming then you can go hang out there during all of those events too.
And you have a clubhouse, you have a pool, you have all these amenities, and you can bring your clients. We're catering a lot to law firms.
Sure. Wow.
Private equities and stuff like that.
Because what's cooler than being able to woo a bunch of people by bringing them
people
there?
Like McLaren have their McLaren experience twice a year and stuff like that. So you bring your friends and you get into those experiences, and it's really, really cool.
Well, that's so fun. And I love Austin. I mean, so I'm always...
Austin is a lot of fun.
I'm happy with an opportunity to go when you have more than 1 hour of a heads up that you're going to go.
If you play your cards well.
Well, good. I took Remy to get his first haircut when Fran was out of town. So I betrayed Fran. Fran was like, I'll do
Yeah.
it. And I was like, I'm making an appointment. Yeah. We just got a small trim, but I just figured it'd be better to take him somewhere where they have all the distractions and they know what they're doing. We went to this cookie
Such a
cutters.
Delilah.
I'm sorry?
You're such a Delilah.
What does that mean?
Like Samson and Delilah in the Bible, that she cut his hair because that was his strength.
You're making an in-depth, obscure Bible reference to me right now.
Yeah.
That's the first time in our relationship you've ever done that.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
It is.
I don't know.
Delilah?
Yeah.
There's a Delilah in the Bible?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So there's this story about Samson. He was really strong, but all his strength came from his hair. So one night, she came in his bedroom.
Why was she mad at him? He was an unfaithful, unhelpful, ungrateful person.
No, he was so strong. He was moving everything around. Like he was like that girl from Encanto.
He was cheating on her.
No, he just like the devil got into her or something. You know,
Okay.
like
she's crazy, right? It's
like
her fault. It's the woman's fault.
She has bipolar disorder or something. No, she got paid or something like that. I don't like.
She got paid.
I left those tales, but
Yeah.
way behind me. But she did it for. She had an agenda, and it wasn't like Samson was.
Is that where the luggage Samsonite comes from?
Maybe.
I'm real into branding. I just thought about that.
But yeah. Anyhow.
So who was I in that story?
You're Delilah caught my son's
and
hair.
Remy Samson.
Yeah, my little Samson.
Samson, because he's almighty and strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is that. Yeah, was. Oh my God, it's a fucking trim. Like, I didn't even shave it down on the sides. Now I understand why you shave their head. Fran and I just like long hair. That's just more the vibe we're into. But man, I got so much heat for posting that story of Remy looking just like Baby Grinch with the Baby Grinch photo next to him. I mean, it's identical. Like they are absolute, minus the green skin tone. They are, yeah. And you've always said that. I had some guy, fuck this dude. I had some guy send me a DM and go, bullying starts in the home. Fuck you. Like, it's my child. I'm not bullying my child. No, he's not wrong about that, but I'm not bullying Remy.
I feel Remy. Like I'm in the other end of that bullying also sometimes. Like right now. Sometimes.
How am I bullying you? We're not even talking about you.
I don't know. With your eyes.
What do you mean? Let's see, we're on video. Do you see the gaslighting that takes place here? At least there's words for it. And I know. I was just trying to teach Francisco. I was telling him before we started the show, like I kind of plotted out a little bit. Thanks for submitting your ideas for this week's show, by the way.
Did you get them? Because we haven't touched any of my subjects.
What were your subjects? Where's the email?
Oh, too late. It was to start the show. Beginning.
Where is it? Did you send it to me?
It was about Remy's haircut, which we already touched into it, about the Circuit of the Americas. Pretty much we're doing the schedule.
Is it being sent like by horse, like in the olden times?
No, it was a telegram.
Right. That would be like that would be that reference. Yeah. Got it. Good. Thank you for coming prepared.
You're welcome.
No, but before the show, I always like to tell them, okay, we're going to do this. And then we have some questions. And then someone wrote a letter. So I kind of, we'll segment it out that way. Very, very complicated behind the scenes right now. So I at least try to plan out the show a little bit so we have some structure. And I was like, so we start out and we can Rizz a little. And he's like, Rizz? And I'm like, yeah, Rizz. You have good Rizz? Do you think you have good Rizz?
I have no idea. I'm Rizzo.
You are Rizzo. You should have the best Rizz. We were just talking about this before you came in.Id you see how many girls I have up there now?
Yeah, you have like a fucking harem up there.
It's amazing, isn't it? I love it. Oh, my girls. Yeah, we have three. We have 3 new interns. One intern that's been here. She's been like a year-long intern. And then we have some of the OGs, obviously, just a couple of the employees that have been here. And so it's really nice. Like, I don't even have a seat up there anymore. I have to come back.
Did you bring like a pickup truck to like sorority and was just like, hey, jump in the back?
Yeah, who's looking for work today? That's such a Mexican reference. Like, do you think that's what I do?
Yeah, like you went like, who's looking for a job?
Who wants work today?
You went SMBU's like sorority houses and it's like,
No, I actually have had, well, I wasn't even planning on talking about the city, but I've like had Danny take over with kind of interviewing and managing people because I've just realized I mean, we could talk endlessly. You still owe us your business podcast. We could talk so much about like running a business, but I think I've found over the years, I'm almost about to hit year 5 in business, which is such a milestone and is really exciting. But as I think scaling and growing this business becomes, incrementally harder, right? Year over year to like grow. I mean, things can be steady and be great, but to really grow and, we have new opportunities, by the way, we're going to launch in a new country and things like that, though, need my attention. And I start to find myself, I'm so hands-on and I'm task oriented and I like to be in the day to day. And, but I find that the hardest part, I think, for me about running a business, I mean, once you outsource some of the stuff that you suck at, right? Like the accounting and things like that. Aside from that, it's the managing of other people, whether it's, kind of managing people that are more task oriented and telling them what to do every day, because that just takes a lot of fucking time. Like, I don't want to have to tell people what to do every day. I don't want to be like, do this, 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 and this, and then like check on it. And so I offloaded that to Danny. Here comes Danny. You're probably handing me something. Oh, thanks. Did you print the letter for me too? You're amazing. Thanks. See, I told her to have someone else do it, but she did it for me because she's like
It's
my
amazing.
right hand. She's great.
Oh my God.
We had already started. No, but I told her I was like, and I think Danny likes to boss.
We can start talking shit about her.
No. I think, Danny's good. I think Danny's like, she's more type A. She's super organized. She's on top of it. And, she has good processes. So I told her, I want you to start helping me manage other people. But, managing other people takes a lot of time. Like you have to spend Sunday night or Monday morning, like coming up with everything you want everyone to do during the week to then help you and delegate. And then I was finding myself spending 2 days a week managing everyone else. And I just don't think that's what I'm best at, like, because then it takes away from me, whatever, making videos, creating content, finding new business opportunities. So I'm trying to structure my time and myself a little bit better. But here I am up there just shooting the shit with these girls for like 2 hours. Like after they come back from a pop-up, like we eat lunch. I go up there and eat lunch with everyone so we can like chat it up.
Mexican style, 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And then siesta.
No, not 2 hours. They just got back. But yeah, we were all having lunch and kind of catching up. So it's fun. I want to be like a fun boss and have a fun environment. But, you can only be as fun as the amount of work that gets done, in my opinion. Like there's plenty of time for fun. And this is a really cool job. But I think it's hard to give younger people the perspective of what a good job is, which makes me sound so old. And it used to drive me crazy when like Kid on the radio would like bitch about younger people being like, no one has work ethic. No one works that hard. And us elder millennials used to get a bad vibe, but now the younger people, some of them, it's been really hard for us. I mean, Danny interviewed, the girls we've brought on have been excellent and they've been working hard and it's been nice. But like some of the girls she interviewed were like excited about it and then just like never replied to her email about accepting a job, like totally ghosted her to the point that Danny's like worried that one of them might have passed away. Like we're not sure. Like Danny even ended up writing us 3 weeks later, like even though we had already filled the position, being like, because she liked her so much. And she was like, I'm just checking on you to make sure everything's okay. Like, obviously, like, we've filled the position, but like, she was so excited when she left here. Danny said she seemed nervous. She seemed excited. She had like really great credentials. She had been doing really good video content and was like, oh my God, that would be my dream to work here. And then like, so Danny offers her a position like 48 hours later and she never heard back from her. And so, then Danny will fill me in on all of this. And I kind of like this process better because I'm like, I have found that I just like will crush girls' dreams. Like being a female CEO can be hard in that way because you bring in younger girls that may look up to you and want to work for you. But then the reality is like, you gotta fucking work, like I want people out there working and like being good representatives of the business. So, if you don't show up to an event or if you fuck up, like I'm going to have words about it, and I think that can be hard. So I'm putting it on Danny.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you because I think one of the hardest things is not to micromanage.
It is hard because you want things done your way.
And it's really hard to get in a habit to let people fuck up even when you like don't want them to fuck up, but they have to learn somewhat. And if you keep them on a you're going to end up doing everybody's job.
I think it's just hard to decide when they can fuck up because when it's such a small team and I don't want someone not showing up for an event when they're responsible for it because then that makes the brand and
that's
myself
not the type
look
of
bad.
That's lazy.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sure, everyone's going to fuck up. We all fuck up. Things happen and I'm forgiving on that. I think what I've tried to teach the team and what's really good advice too, if you're younger, it's like always come with a solution when you make a mistake instead of just like, oh, I'm so sorry or crying. It's like, okay, so this happened, but here's like, okay, like I messed up the packaging or the label on something. Like there's been some major mistakes. Even Danny's made mistakes in the past. And it's like, but here are the solutions. Like I contacted the printer. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And then you're like presented with options of solutions. And it's just much more solution oriented than kind of droning on about the problem. But anyway, yeah, it's been really difficult. Running a business is hard. Relationships are hard. It's been so funny talking to them. Like they're, one of them just turned 20 and it's like, wow. One of them was telling me that her mom's 42. And I'm like, oh my God, I could be your mom.
So
like
funny.
That's how I'm getting now.
Like I think it started hitting me this year. It never hit me like, oh my God, I'm getting like into that middle age situation. It sounds creepy.
It's hitting me. Well, you seem okay. This is the year of 40 for you.
Yeah, no, I know. And but I was
Did you know?
I was in Miami last week. And I was in this hotel in the East, and it has a really cool roof bar. And I was going to the roof bar, and there was this line, and this guy was carding everybody, like, hey. And they were just, and I got my license prepared, like I was prepared. Like I didn't want to hold up the line. And he looked at me like, no, you can go. Like,
wait. You're rubbing off on me.
You.
Francisco, we finally went on a date night. We coerced my mom Candy into watching Remy like last second, late afternoon on Saturday. And Fran and I are like, let's get kind of stoned and go to a movie. And so we go to, I was so excited that you were willing to see a horror movie. You told me there was this movie out called The Boogeyman. I had seen that it got good reviews. I didn't look into it any further than that. So we go to a movie theater, which movie theaters sometimes are like, so eerie and like kind of rundown feeling. Like not all of them, but the one we went to in particular, because of course we wanted to see a movie at like 5:00. We're sitting there and this guy comes up. He was so funny trying to take our order. And I got a glass of wine and you got something, I guess. And, and he looks at Fran. Okay. Like he looks at Fran and then he looks at me and he goes, okay. And he like looks down at his pad and it was so obvious to me that he like did a once over of both of us and then just totally realized that we were plenty old. And I like had to say something. Obviously I was feeling chatty. I was kind of high. I was like, you totally just like gave us the look over and definitely realized that we were way over 21. He goes, I was like, all right, cool, it's fine. I mean, it's true. I mean, I don't at all look like I'm 21, but it's funny.
It starts hitting you when you start in a like professional matter in a business setting, like dealing with 25s, 26, 27, 28s.
Mhm.
And like you don't feel that apart from there. Like it
No.
was only like 13 years ago.
It was a little bit more.
Well, when I was 26.
Yeah.
And but for them it seems abysmal. And then I remember when I was like 26, it does seem abysmal.
40, yeah. 30 didn't bother me as a woman. Like, I don't know about y'all and females that are listening. Like, I even tell younger girls everything I wish I had known since I didn't grow up with an older sister or an older sibling in that capacity. That like, I find that the 20s to be really difficult. You want to be 21 so bad. One of my girls just turned 20 and she's like, it's like I'm in this purgatory, like right before you're 21. And you feel it at the time, like it's so long, But then after 21 and then you graduate college, it's just this period of time where you feel lost and dating sucks because you feel that guys are so immature when you're that age. And, red flags back then, I'm like, I didn't see that red flag. Like, let's just give that red flag like 6 more good red flag years, But like now when I started dating, like once I got into my mid 30s, like I'd see like one thing be off and I'm just like fucking beat it, dude. Like you just don't waste time as you get older. And it's so nice. You just don't care as much anymore. And I've really enjoyed my 30s. So yeah, I've never thought much about 40. And here we are. I mean, a year away for me. And it's like, so that is why I'm changing my style. I have a year until I'm 40. So I'm gonna, I'm changing my style a little bit. I'm a mom now. Like I'm going to get rid of a bunch of clothes. I've made this decision. I'm going to do a TikTok journey. I'm going to change I have a small style evolution. We're going to see how that goes. Like fucking jean shorts with butt cheek hanging out do not work anymore. I do not have the physique for it. And it's just not appropriate now. Side boob. It worked in 25. It's cute. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Thought you'd be happy to know that.
I'm excited to hear whatever makes you excited.
You seem thrilled. Well, we have some great questions today, actually, especially since you haven't been around. So we're going to take a quick break and hear from a couple of our sponsors. And when we get back, I'm going to read a really nice, long, doesn't sound like a good tease. I'm going to read a really nice message we got from someone asking about some advice when it comes to momming and working. You know, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and a question that Francisco and I seem to get nearly every week when y'all write questions into the show is, do y'all do couples therapy? Yes, 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 yes. Not only do we do couples therapy, I've done individualized therapy, and so has Francisco. You know, more recently, Francisco actually got on BetterHelp, and he said it was so easy. I mean, it really is. They couldn't make it easier to be matched with a therapist. You just fill out some questions, you tell them what you're interested in, and they will match you with someone that specializes in what you're needing, and often as little as 72 hours or less. They could not make it easier. And being quite honest, like, life is so busy that even when you know deep down you probably need help with something, whether, you know, you're going through a real kind of grieving period of time or a breakup, or you're at a crossroads with your work and your identity, or you're just feeling overall depressed, it can be so hard to, you know, Google or ask a friend and go in person. And BetterHelp alleviates all of that. Again, they'll match you with someone. You can change therapists a handful of times if you don't feel that it's a right fit, free of charge. They're more affordable than other in-person therapies. And I don't know if y'all know this, but in-person therapy, like, can be very, very expensive. And, you know, that hour goes by very quickly. So you want to try and preserve as much money as you can, because you want to have as many sessions as you can to really find the help that you need. And BetterHelp makes it so convenient. You can just book a session in the middle of your workday. You don't even have to turn on your computer camera. You just go from there. They are going to help you cope and give you the skills you need to enjoy life more. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Fitish today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Fitish. I can't believe it's been nearly 16 months since I had a baby. And I actually went to the doctor the other day to get some blood work done. I'm so curious to see how everything's going with my hormones and my body. And I told them I've been feeling really good, but I know it's thanks to Ritual. I love Ritual vitamins. And especially recently, I've been into the Symbiotic Plus, which is the nice edition, the probiotic for the body. And actually, I should say it's more of a 3-in-1, prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic to support a balanced gut microbiome. But vitamins are so important, and you don't realize it until you don't take them for a while, that you're just like, something's feeling off, especially as we get older, right? And I've really made an effort to be better about this. And Ritual makes this so easy, y'all. You don't have to Google. You don't have to order stuff online. You can literally sign up for the subscription. It's so easy. They're going to send these like right to your mailbox, like ready to swallow every 30 days. It's so convenient. And I have been on the, you know, the Women's Daily. I've done the prenatal, the postnatal. My doctor actually told me the other day, my OB said, you should just stay on your prenatal vitamin all the time, which is really interesting, especially if you're planning on getting pregnant again. And I don't know about y'all, but my stomach has often had issues. And once I got on this probiotic called Symbiotic Plus from Ritual, I've been feeling so much better. The best part, and it may be small to some of y'all, is the way these Ritual vitamins taste. I cannot stand the taste of other brands of vitamins. These are all coated, nested in this nice capsule. Some of them taste like lemon. Some of them taste like mint. You're not going to have a terrible aftertaste all day. I think that's really important when you're swallowing these supplements every day. Symbiotic Plus and Ritual are here to celebrate, not hide your insides. It's time to listen to your gut. Ritual's offering our Fitish listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/Fitish to start Ritual or add Symbiotic Plus to your subscription today. I love when y'all send emails and like personal information about yourself and parenting. It seems that people are really interested in kind of the stage of parenting and how we're dealing with things. And we actually got an email. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. And the subject was the struggles of motherhood. And someone from my team sent it to me and was like, you should do this on the podcast. But it's great. It says, hi, Jen, I'm Christy. I'm a new mom myself, a huge fan of y'all's podcast. I love listening to your conversations with Fran because they're too funny, but mostly because I can relate to them all. I love that you keep it real and talk about what everyone else seems to be too ashamed to speak of or even ask. First of all, I know you're extra busy and might not have the time to read this or discuss it, but she said, your last episode, The Struggles of Motherhood, there's something I've been struggling with for this past year, which is going back to work full time. I took 3 months of maternity leave and paid time off to stay home with the baby. I went back part time and had a babysitter watch him at home while I worked from there until he was 11 months. We'd been on a wait list for a school. I was secretly happy it kept getting delayed. So now he's been in school for 1.5 months, and I decided to stay working part time. For me, it's a real struggle to go back to full time because I won't have enough time to spend with him. Of course, not working full time has an effect on our income, not to mention my career. At the moment, I work 30 hours a week. I get to pick him up from school around 3-ish, and it's working really good for the baby and myself. But if you think about it, if I were to get out of work at 5, I'd pick him up at 5:45, put him to bed at 7:30. I'd only get 2 hours of bonding. Is that normal? I've yet to meet another mom who's going through the same as me. And every time I meet someone in my situation, ask them about work, they're all working full time. Is it crazy that I want to spend more time with him? How do you all handle it? Growing up in Mexico, both of my parents had to work a lot to make things work. So I spent most of the time with my nanny, and I refuse to do the same with my kid and any future kids if I have more. I've also been wanting to change jobs to something more design driven. I'm an architectural designer, but all job postings are for full time. Am I being selfish wanting to have it all? Am I the only mom who has a hard time with this? Do I just have to give in and accept the fact that this is what everyone else does? What are your thoughts? So good, Christy, because I talk about this kind of thing all the time. And it's moments like this. And when I think about people's situations, that I know how fortunate I am that I am able to work from home. And I think I say the hardest part a lot because all of this is really fucking hard, isn't it? But wow, right? Especially for those of you listening that I think a lot in this moment about a single mom with a dad that's not around, or just if maybe you're a dad, but you're the primary parent and you don't have backup and you don't have family and you're working your ass off or you're in school and you are having to utilize daycare from 6:30 or 7 a.m. until 5:30 or 6 at night. You are hardly getting any time with your child except maybe on the weekend. And wow, what a sacrifice you're making to give y'all a better life. I just don't think there's a right answer to this, in my opinion, because I think everyone's journey with parenting is different. And you're right. Some people don't have a choice. So you do it because you have to make ends meet, right? That your parents did that, not because they didn't want to spend time with you, but because they had to work their ass off to make money. And that's the reality for most all of us, I think that I agree. And I've really changed my personal tune on what amount of money is enough, right? What amount of money is enough? We all need money. We all need money to be happy. We want to make sure we can take care of our medical bills. I mean, shit, living in the United States and how things are right now, everything's so damn expensive. But I think there's so much to be said for these memories and bonding and quality time that I could have never understood until I had a child why anyone would choose to be a stay-at-home mom if they had a career, why someone would leave a career that they liked to be a stay-at-home mom. And now I completely understand why you would do that, especially if you have a job that you're not super passionate about and you're paying someone else to watch your child. It is a no-brainer why you would choose to leave that, even if it means slightly less income. I totally get it. And I just think there isn't a right answer. It's what's best for you. Who cares what other people are doing, right? Who cares what the mom that you meet that's working full time? That's great. Maybe she loves her job. Maybe she likes to work more than she likes to parent, I think that, and that doesn't apply to everyone, right? I mean, I think that it's just, we're very lucky that I can kind of do this hybrid. And for so long, I struggled with the hybrid. That's what's ridiculous. I felt like I wasn't working hard enough. I wasn't momming hard enough. I felt lost in this in between. And now I'm trying to frame it as how great if I could pick up Remy from school every day at 3:00 and make that work. But then again, I can't do that all the time. I need to work more because now I feel like maybe my business isn't going to be as successful as it could be because I'm momming too much.
That's why I like to pile my 2 hours before I leave the work.
In the morning. That's why Fran spends his time. But you're so great.
No.
You take advantage because you are gone all day. And so
I'm
you
gone
do
all
the
day.
morning
So I
and the
have
night.
like the 2 hours after I work. And then, are you having an issue with your new styles?
With my new styles? No, I made sure the camera's not on my crotch. Garrett says it's like only at the top of my knee and my chest. Stop, this is serious. With my new styles.
So
I have a short skirt on, but you can't see it.
That's something I do love about waking up with him. And when I come back home, normally it's at 5, so I have another 2 hours. So I enjoy my 4 hours with him. There's some days that I get him at 2:30 to relieve the nanny. And if I could, I would spend every day with him.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, if
I mean, I
could-
wouldn't. I'd get real annoyed, but like, that's nice of you to say. That's
No,
like a
like
perfect
the things
parent.
that-
I know you're great. You have a better patience level than me. I don't want to spend all day every day, and I just want to be honest about that. But I don't want to outsource the attachment either. You know, I like being really.
the things that, yeah, no, and I get it. Like,
It's just not as a relatable thing to say,
No,
to be
for
honest.
sure.
You know, and that's wonderful you feel that way. But that's like a mom being like, "This is so easy." It's like, fuck off.
it's not easy. It's not easy by any means. But he does smile and makes everything worth it. Like, he's just amazing, and I'm not relatable in that regard, because yes, I'm crazy passionate about him.
Yeah, but you were also gone for most of the day, all day, every day. And I think for me, working from home's it is a dilemma because I don't feel that I get as
I
much done some
cannot
days.
work from home.
But I love that I'm there, right? Because I'm kind of monitoring, like, especially in the beginning with a nanny. And then we have my mom who's great. But anyway, Christy, I think that this would be my advice. I don't think there's a solution for feeling conflicted. And from every other mom with more years under their belt than me has told me, working moms, I should say, because yeah, I definitely gravitate more towards relationships with working moms. Not that I think being a stay-at-home mom's easy. It's just that I tend to have more in common with a woman who is working and trying to mom and figuring that out. And please don't take that the wrong way, because I look at stay-at-home momming as like actually really, really challenging and difficult, because it's just, and I would have an identity crisis for sure. And I understand why that's so hard. But anyway, I think that it's more about personal. Like, are you feeling driven to still have something separate from momming, you know, a part of your identity that you went to school, you're an architectural designer. Maybe there is a hybrid remote work job out there for you that's somewhere along the lines of your qualifications that you could figure it out, you know, how to consult or how to do something from home. Yeah, with taking a pay cut. How valuable is money to you? Literally, you know, like how, yeah, it does suck to take a hit. But I'll tell you right now, my tune has changed so much on the value of money, the priorities. I'm sure a lot of you feel that way. Like, man, I kind of look at people now. I mean, I'm sharing this with this inner circle because I definitely, and I don't even know who listens to this podcast that I know, but like, I know a lot of women in Dallas, you know, that I'm friendly with, that they have a lot of money and they live in a different realm and their priorities seem to be different as well. They may not work. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of childcare. They don't seem as maybe as hands-on, or they have a lot of help. And I'm trying to kind of navigate it because I'm like, wait, why are we even in a rat race anymore? Like, isn't the most valuable thing the time that you can spend with your child, especially at this young age, right? Because everyone tells you, like, they're going to be teenagers. They're not going to want to hang out with you. Then they're going to be in high school. They're going to be in college. You never know what's going to happen in their life. I mean, I feel every day worried that, like, you know, it could be your last day with someone. Like, that's how I live now. Like, I'm terrified. And so I love these moments. And this is something behind Fran and my decision that we really want to try and make a move to Spain in a couple of years, because we've really romanticized this concept of, like, think about the quality time we would get to spend on a weekend basis with these fun activities, you know, affordably being able to travel to so many culturally informative and like wonderful places with our child and make these memories when he's young. And so, you know, that's a real motivator for us, you know, to live somewhere, and that he probably wouldn't get shot at school. That's just, let's be real. But I just think there's no right answer is the point. So this is probably really long-winded and not helpful. But I think feeling this conflicted is 100% normal, because I feel this way every day that I get up. And I wish I could say it's gotten easier for me. I think I've just figured out what works for us. So what works for you? You know, I think you should deep down follow your passion, work, find some sort of job that is fit for you. What a good time to take that leap and still have this hybrid working mom situation, because I think that's the way to go.
100%.
But man, it's hard. The pull you have in all these directions. So, I mean, I wish there was, you know, a way to put it differently. But yeah, the point is, I don't think you should have a job anymore just based on that income, unless you really need the money. You know, I don't think that you should focus on that being the reason, because you're going to make that money and then you're going to like not have the time with your kid. And it's just not worth it in my eyes anymore.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's hard to measure the balance because we live in such a capitalist
Yeah.
community environment that everything is more, better, more, better, better, more.
Yeah, more is better. And that's just so not true other than more time.
Bigger,
right?
shinier.
No matter the amount of money you
newer.
have, you can't buy time. And so, I mean, unless, having more money to where you don't have to work means you can spend more time with your child. But
in that subject, I think I completely confirmed that I cannot work from home. Like yesterday, I tried it. I tried because I was about to leave to go to Austin. I needed to send some emails, write a contract. And I was doing it in the living room.
You left at 10 a.m. How'd you try to work from home?
Well,
just in the morning?
From 8 to 10. So, like, him screaming, I just get so caught up in it that
you have super ADD though. You're super
everybody.
ADD and it's really hard to manage. I agree.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to put on headphones, sit in the office and close it off. I mean, of course, you'd have to create an environment for focus.
Where do I put in the headphones?
Well, there's this thing called music.
Oh.
There's this thing called podcasts.
I cannot multitask.
You can't listen to music and work?
No. Not if I'm doing actually like writing something where I have to like think, like I have to listen to my ideas.
Psychopath. All right, let's move on to other questions, okay? Do your families provide advice to y'all regarding your relationship? No.
What's the question? I couldn't hear. I hear.
You couldn't hear it because you were looking at your phone. Do your families provide advice to y'all regarding your relationship?
Advice? I couldn't hear the middle word. It's not that. Let me see.
Are you having a stroke? Advice.
I'll provide advice. Good. No.
No.
Well,
one time I tried to seek advice from his mom, and I very quickly learned that I should have known. I don't want to say just Mexican mother-in-law. Maybe it's every mother with their son, and I'll go through this at one point. I mean, I feel like Fran could like physically assault me, and his mom would be like, he didn't do it. He did not do it. My son would never do it. I love my son. She has his fucking back
but you know
through and through. I was just trying to talk to her and she goes, I was trying to talk to her. I mean, this was a very serious time after we had a baby. Fran and I got in a really bad fight. I think you were flipped out about something and you said something that you said something that hurt my feelings so much. Like it was too low of a blow, honestly. Like it makes me very upset to think about. And I want to say that you just said it. This is an issue Fran and I tend to have. Like, you know how people say mean things when they fight and they don't mean them? Well, I don't do that. Like, I feel like there's truth in everything because sometimes I just feel like words really matter always. And like, you can't take it back. And that was one of these scenarios. So I said, and his mom saw me crying. His mom said something like she was staying with us. It was a mess. And like, I said to her, I just don't know what to do. Like, he just says really mean things when we fight sometimes. And she goes to me, you know, Jenna, men and women, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I'm like, don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit, Lula. I know men and women are fucking different, you know? And I just was like washing bottles, like breast milk leaking. Like I was so upset, you know? And I was like, I just quickly realized like my mother-in-law was not about to be, she just loves him and she loves her son. And she is never going to tell me like, I wanted her to at least be like, because I was asking her advice. I was like, Lula, like, how do I communicate better with him? You know, like I want to be able to tell him when I'm not happy about something. Like I was asking her how she does it with your dad. Like, how do I tell him if I'm not happy with something or if something hurt my feelings without it becoming World War III? And yeah, it was like such a dead end, to be quite honest. And I adore your mom, but it's kind of for the best because you and I aren't the type of people to, you know, every now and then I'll vent to my mom. I mean, she's my mom, you know, but she loves Fran. And I think you have to be very careful with what you say. And this should be a rule, like with family, with friends, because a lot of times, especially women, we tend to bitch about our partner and it'll give your friend kind of a bad vibe about it. You know, like you want to bounce ideas off people, but if you're only complaining and never bragging on them, you know, then your friend may not like them as much anymore. And, or it just becomes very toxic. And so, yeah, Fran and I tend to just kind of hash out our issues together, and either resolve it or not. And then it bubbles up again at some other point.
No, but they have your back, just so you know. Like
they
my
love
mom.
me. Oh, I know. No, I know.
Like if I'm ever upset with you, my mom is always like, oh, like she gives you she has your back.
Okay. Do you believe in long distance? If so, if not, why? I'm looking for some advice.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Distance makes the heart grow
as long as
fonder.
you don't have a kid, I think that's the difference. But like if you're a professional and you have a career,
Oh,
Long distance could be
and you're
the
dating someone long distance. This is how I
yeah.
feel about long distance. Is there an end in sight? Because at some point, your goals should align that you're going to have a shared life together somewhere. And it may be 2 years, it may be 3 years, it may be a year, whatever it is. But I think you have to be a little more regimented with like, where do your goals align geographically? You know, is someone going to sacrifice and make a move? Or are you going to move somewhere together? If y'all are just dating and there's no end in sight, I do not think that's sustainable. But I do think if you know, I mean, it's just like long distance and someone has to move for work for a bit. Like, as long as you know there's an end in sight to that, I definitely think it's manageable with boundaries and time spent together and kind of whatever works for you. I for sure think that that's doable and nice, honestly. Like if
Yeah.
you're busy
And you
because you
have your
still get your
space
life.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Hard, but nice. But absolutely, as long as it's not like, I don't know, actually. I mean, unless you're talking like they're in prison or something, you know, that's maybe a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
But that could still work. You know, is
100%.
there an end in sight though? I know he didn't do it, but I'm just saying no. Let's see. Please keep anonymous. How to accept a friendship dissolution without closure, such as being ghosted. You know, Ellen, that's so funny. I shouldn't have said your name. I'm so sorry. Actually, maybe you don't care. I'm really sorry. There could be a lot of you out there, right? This is hard. This has happened to me, actually. I don't know. I've never
You
really
got
talked
ghosted?
about it. Yeah, I did. By a best friend, actually. And I think that it's just so fucking painful. And I ended up talking to a therapist about it because it was someone I was really close with. And we got in a bit of a disagreement over something kind of, you know, work related. And I was kind of, maybe I was stepping out of bounds. I was really worried about a relationship that she was in. You know, this person was married and it seemed very emotionally abusive to her. And I offered to pay for some therapy. And I swear to you, she wrote me an email. It was like one sentence. It was just like, I don't want to help with work anymore. I don't know. Probably shouldn't give too many details. And I never heard from her again. Literally never heard from her again. And it was a very close friend. And it's really hard as you get older to go through things like that. And me being an only child, I took my female friendships. I take them very seriously. And I think maybe to a certain degree, I put too much pressure on female friendships because I'm like, you're like my sister. No, they have a sister. They may have sisters. You know, they have siblings. You're not their sibling when you're an only child. And I think that's been a really hard expectation for me that I kind of worked on in therapy. It was really hard because I just feel that I'm owed in a way, right? Like, what? Just tell me, like, Jenna, you're being a bitch, or I don't agree with you, or I'm going to choose this guy for now. And yeah, it's not going to work out. But like, you know, I don't agree and I'm mad at you and you hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it. Like, if you're like sisters, you should be able to talk about it. But a therapist shed light on this. And I just want you to know that a lot of times when things like this happen, and I don't want to play the blame game, like, oh, it's them, not you. But in general, usually if someone's going to ghost you, like they got shit going on with themselves. You know what I mean? Because that's not the kind of friend that you want to have. Like, you deserve a closure with a relationship, with a friendship, with anything, right? And I think sometimes you outgrow friendships, unfortunately. You know, you can have friends. I've had a few friends, especially more in my adult life, that we're just not on the same page anymore, you know, and it doesn't have to blow up. Ghosting's kind of more peaceful, to be honest. You know, I did write this person a message a couple weeks later and I'm like, hey, like, are we fighting? You know, it's kind of that thing like, are we fighting? Are you like, did I really say something online? I'm so confused. Like, I'm not sure what happened. You know, like, I would love to talk about it. Never heard from him again. And in hindsight, like, you know, after talking to other friends that knew this person, they were like, I felt that you were being used and it was just like not a good situation anyway. And I didn't see it because I like loved this person and I still like have fond memories. But yeah, it was probably just not the right balance of friendship. And I guess that's all I can really say is that a therapist has said sometimes you attract people that aren't a good fit in your life. And then when they get up close to you, it's only a mirror on how maybe not great they feel about themselves. And you can't really save them from that. You know, you can't be a saver and you can't fix people. And you got to stay away from that. And so I don't know, maybe that's too personal to me, but I just think you got to look at life as kind of cyclical and people are going to come and people are going to go. And it really sucks. It really, really sucks. And I'm really sorry that happened because it can be really painful, but it opens up time in your life for people that won't do that to you. So look at it that way. You wrote some more questions actually, but we'll save some of those coming up. Yeah. Let's see. We have best low key. How much time do we have left? Are we good? Best low key way to celebrate a 30th birthday. I'm not a party person, but I want to celebrate. I'm so the same when it comes to that sort of thing. I think you all know that about me. And you could be like Fran and try and surprise me with a small party bus. He learns. I tell him I don't want a huge party. I would tell you actually if I'm like, hey, you know what? I want you to or something. I want you to do something big for my 50th. Sick. No. I'm the same way, which sounds weird. I think a lot of people don't buy that. You're more of the partier, so I try to throw him a party. But I want to say to you, like, you should celebrate, because anytime I've had friends convince me, like when I left the radio just to do this and we had this retired-ish party.
We always have so much fun.
I had so much fun, and I didn't want it. I didn't want that attention. It felt silly. Like it was just a silly joke. Like I'm retired-ish because obviously I'm still working as much as ever, but it was so funny, and it was actually such a fond memory for me that same with my 30th. Everyone told me you got to celebrate your 30th. I ended up going to Mexico with a couple of friends, and wow, like what great memories, I mean, we just had a really nice weekend together, and I'm so glad we did it. So pick something that you want to do. It does not have to be a party. But pick a couple people close to you, or just something you want to do. I mean, maybe it's a little solo trip, but I would just do something. You got to do something to kind of honor the 30th birthday, because it's cool, right? What did you do for your 30th? I didn't know you then.
I didn't do much. So for my 30th, I was working my ass off.
Yeah.
I celebrated my 31st when I made it, So my transition from my 29th to 30th, like I was swamped with all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And I had a really big party on my 31st. They just opened Bistro 31, so it was just fit to celebrate.
Rent. You were paying their rent through that period of time. That's where we met.
And so I celebrated on my 31st. Huge. And then my 35th.
Huge. I met you. I was 35 when I met you.
Yeah, so I met you a weekend after my 35th birthday party.
Wow.
Also at Bistro 31.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A week after your 35th?
Yeah.
Oh, so I was 34. Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah, I'm more low key, What did we do this year? Well, you planned a trip for us to go out of town, but we ended up
we were
in town.
supposed to be out of town for your birthday, but then you pushed Remy and...
Oh my God, Fran. And I'm the bully? Do y'all hear what happens here? I'm so glad we have so much of this on video.
I'm just taking it back for Remy that you were bullying, that he looked like...
You're the one that gave me the idea. This is what I mean. It's such bullshit. You gave me the idea.
It was my idea. But yeah, so we stayed. We went to Uchi to have sushi.
Oh, yeah. Uchiba. I love that spot. That's a
Did
nice
we take
spot.
the Beast? We took the Beast.
It was a nightmare.
No.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing about Fran. You're so anxious about so many things with him. Like I told y'all, like we can't be around the house with Remy doing anything, and Fran's like, like in my ear, it haunts me, and I'm just like, stop making that noise. I'm literally standing right next to him. He's like, oh, I thought he was gonna put the straw up his butthole, and I'm like, no, he's not. Like he's right here, and so you do that, yet. It's just so funny that you're that way, but you're so chill in a restaurant. Like Remy could be screaming at the top of his lungs, and Fran is so relaxed. And I am just the complete opposite. So I suppose it's a nice balance. Like I'm more the person at home. I'm a little more anxious since the fall where I shoved him to the ground. No, the fall and the stitches. But like I'm so anxious, like with the flying and the restaurant, because like he is just not enjoyable at a restaurant anymore. And a lot of parents have told me that you're going to hit a mark usually around 1.5 years, and it's going to last maybe until they're 3 years old, where like you really don't want to take them out to eat because they want to walk around, they want to run, they throw food, they throw fits, and it's just kind of miserable. So he's not that bad, but it's still like to be in a really nice restaurant where you're spending money and all you want to do is just kind of enjoy some food. It's almost like forget about it. Like now I get why people do screen time at dinner, because if you want to have a moment here and there, it buys you like 20 minutes. It's great.
So the difference is that I get the because I feel that he's going to harm himself, not because he's crying. Like when he's hysterical, he's hysterical. Like he's going to go away. But he's not harming himself by being hysterical. He's harming everybody around.
Right. And me and my like expensive sushi meal that I'm like, why are we even doing this? But that's the thing. I'd rather just be at home. It's just, we're different people. See, this is the thing I try to tell Fran. Go, Fran, just because you don't feel the same way as me does not mean you are wrong and I am right. It just means like you can. I watched a therapist talk about this the other day. They were like, you just have to acknowledge your partner's feelings. You don't have to be like, oh yeah, you're right. I get it. It's like, no, you don't even have to get it. You just have to be like, this is how she feels. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. Like, I don't feel the same way, but like, this is how I feel. And
You're
I try
right.
to do that with you. I'm like, he's just fucking spazzing. He's just fucking spazzing. Just let it go. Just let it go. Oh my God, Fran's crazy. Just, it's not about me. What I tell myself.
No, but you have to realize I do that even when you're not
Fran
around.
wakes me up last night, by the way, before we go, y'all. Fran, I have like change. I got it down. I'm like dedicated. Like the amount of bedding I tend to buy sometimes to figure out like the perfect combination that he's not going to like throw off. Fran could literally sleep in a jail cell. Like you want just rock on rock on rock with like maybe one sheet. Like it is psychopath again. And I'm
It's
like,
real.
I want like 10 duvets and like 10 pillows to where my neck hurts. We just couldn't be more opposite. So whenever Fran goes out of town, I look at it as an opportunity to like pick up the bedroom and like make the bed and like make it all nice. So I got this like giant king because I realized a king like barely fits a king. Like you need to get a super king. And my mom's like, yeah, everyone knows that. Of course my mom would say that. I go, everyone knows that, Candy. Like, she's like, yeah, that's why a queen barely fits a queen. And you're supposed to put a king on a queen mattress so it drapes over the sides. I go, this is great, Mom. I'm almost 40. Thank you for divulging this information now.
No,
Why
she's
isn't this
still
talked about
holding
more?
on
But it's true
information
because
that-
like at night there's that little war. So yeah, that's just a tip. If you're on a queen, just order one size bigger of a duvet. What are you? Are the gnats following you around? What are you
Yeah.
swatting the air?
I'm just like spazzing here.
Worried about you were stroking before. I'm worried about you. But anyway, so I got a super king. I didn't even realize they made something called a super king. Yeah, you're right. It's not cheap. A duvet cover is not cheap. But anyway, so I like fix up the bed all nice, man. When I tell you I got in that bed last night, like what's a better feeling than like my mom spent the night. She put Remy down. It took her like an hour because he was like hooking himself to her. It was so cute. I'm watching them on the camera. I'm laying in bed. I got Wheezy next to me. I got the whole bed to myself. Like it took me literally, 45 minutes to like, my whole body was in that duvet trying to get it in. I'm laying in bed. I start to doze off. Fran calls me and I'm like, what? He goes, you need to get out of bed. I'm like, you creep. What? He was like, the gun is under the bed. I go, in the safe. And I go, great. Good story, man. And he's like, get up and get it. And I was like, I don't want to get up and get the gun. Like, I'll get it if there's an intruder. And he's like, no, it's a 4-step process to unlock the
If
safe.
there's an intruder, you're too late.
It's a 4-step process. I had the alarm set, but then of course he knows it's going to like fuck with me mentally. So he's like, there is a bracelet that you need to access. And then you need to hold the bracelet up against the safe. And so like, we're literally on FaceTime, y'all. I am so fucking tired. And like, it totally like ruined it. Cause I was dozing. Like I would have been in like dreamland of sleep. So then I'm all rattled and I'm like I have my like phone light on FaceTime. It's not working. He's like, hold up the plastic end. And I'm like, the plastic end? Like, it's like this watch bracelet. And like, he was, so for 10 minutes, I'm trying to like put it where it needs to go by the sensor. He's like, now press it in. Like all I had to do was press a button. And then this like giant fucking gun safe with like all these guns and it opens up and he's like, it's ready to go. And I was like, great. So like, I was so tired. I just like put the gun like next on the like bed beside me. Like, well, I hope I don't have to use this, creep.
Well, it would be better if you. It's better than you didn't. But if you would, you had it. You know what's so funny? Like the time that I can take full advantage of sleeping in, and sleeping in meaning waking up at 7.
Yeah, you freaked me out this morning. I am with Remy in the kitchen and I hear duck. I'm like, Remy and I are like, Fran's talking to us through the kitchen camera at 5:30 this morning. It was terrifying.
And it was so funny because
I'm like, let me go get that gun.
I literally wake up
when he wakes up.
he wakes up. Even if we're not in the
He's such
same
a weirdo.
house.
Francis was like, I've been watching him since 5. He's been awake, just laying in his bed with his eyes open. I'm like, good. He's self-soothing. Good. I go
he
in.
was like laying in bed like this, like with his eyes open.
And totally still.
And totally still. I was about to wake you up. It's like, go check on him.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't.
You're freaking out from afar. Give me the night off, man.
Mi gordito.
Well, thank you for tuning in this week. And we are happy to take your questions.
Yes, anything you want us to talk about?
Why don't y'all send it to Fran so he can submit some ideas for the show next
please.
week?
I'm always open.
We'll see you next week.